If you're brand new to using Xero or you're considering signing up, there is something that you should know. Xero is incredibly powerful. However, most people who use it make the mistake of only using the default settings. And when you stick to the default, you're missing out on so many things that make Xero such a great and powerful tool for small business owners. Thankfully, with a few smart customizations, you can turn Xero into something that actually works for the way you run your business and make your numbers a whole lot more helpful. Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Trull, CPA turned financial educator for small business owners, and here on this channel I bring you all the things you need to stay informed, organized, and profitable in your business finances, so please make sure to subscribe. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to customize Xero so that it fits you like a glove, saving you time, reducing stress, and giving the clarity that you need to make smarter business decisions. And make sure to stick around until the very end of this video because that's what I'm going to tell you about the brand new customization that I stumbled upon in Xero the other day and literally became instantly obsessed with it. So you definitely do not want to miss that. And real quick, if you're not already using Xero and you decide to sign up for it, make sure to use my link. I have negotiated the best deal possible on Xero for you, but you do have to grab it through my link at jamietrull.com/Xero, or you can use the QR code on the screen. All right, let's jump into all the cool things you can customize in Xero and how to make it happen. So first things first, we're gonna jump into the chart of accounts. So when you're in Xero, you can find your chart of accounts under Accounting, Chart of Accounts. And your chart of accounts is what's gonna dictate what shows up on your income statement and on your balance sheet. And while some of these accounts will be locked, those are ones that are default and you need to keep them where they are. Other ones are able to be changed, and you can always also add additional accounts. So if you're trying to figure out what your accounts are and if it covers everything you need, you can actually go through and go to the different categories and check out what the default chart of accounts is that's already been populated in here. So you'll see there's certain ones for assets, there's certain ones for liabilities. Assets and liabilities, remember, show up on your balance sheet along with equity. But then we get to the P&L when we talk about expenses and revenue. So expenses are probably one of the more customized areas. If you have certain expenses you would like to see separately or categories that aren't really covered in anything that's listed here, you can absolutely add another account to be able to record it and see it really easily and separately. So the first thing that you do when you're going to add an account is you want to figure out exactly where you want to add it. And the nice thing about Xero is it already has some default coding. So typically your cost of goods sold may be starting in the 500s, and then all of your regular operating expenses would start with a 6. So depending on what you want to add, you probably want to figure out what the closest different type of expense to it is. So for example, let's say that I wanted to specifically track meals for travel separately because meals are 50% deductible. So I wanted to be able to separate those out. Well, my travel account is $684. So maybe I'll use $685 as my new account. So I'm going to come up to Add Account, and I'm just going to be able to choose an account type. In this case, it's going to be an expense account. And then, like I said, we're going to put in $685 because that's the next one that relates to it. And then I'm just going to put travel meals. And I can put a description in here if I want to, and then I'm just going to save it. And now when I scroll down, we should be able to see, yep, there it is. Travel meals is right here under travel. So you can add any additional expenses that you need. Remember, while it can be helpful to make sure that you're aligning with the tax return in some way, you can always show things at a more detailed level than the tax return does. So if you want to see things a little bit more granularly without having to drill into all your accounts, you can absolutely create new accounts for that. And then when it comes tax time, you can just summarize those accounts together. So typically when you're getting set up for the first time in Xero, I recommend starting with the chart of accounts and making sure that it reflects what you want it to. Now, of course, while you can make as many new accounts as you want to, I still recommend, just from an accountant's perspective, not to get too crazy when it comes to accounts, because sometimes we have far too many and it makes it such that our financial statements, including our profit and loss, are a little bit confusing and hard to read. So we want to make sure that we have the data that we need, and easy access to it, but we don't want to go so crazy that it loses its meaning. Now, one thing that you might notice, especially if you're moving from another system like QuickBooks Online, you might realize that there is not a way here to create sub-accounts. So in that case, if I were using QuickBooks Online, I could have created this travel meals as a sub-account for travel. So that means that on my P&L, there would be a main account, and then you could also drill into the various different sub-accounts that would be totaled. But in Xero, it actually does not give you the option to create this as a sub-account anywhere. And that actually threw me for a loop a little bit in the beginning too, because I had a ton of sub-accounts in QuickBooks Online. But then I did a little bit of digging as to how I could handle this. And I gotta say, I actually prefer the way Xero does this now. So I noticed that it said this: you can modify where accounts appear in your reports using customized report layouts. So I set out to figure out exactly how that reporting customization worked. So I went to the reporting tab, and we're gonna start with the income statement, which I also love the fact that when you hit reporting, all of your favorited reports can show up right here. It already puts some in here, but you can change what these are. So I'm gonna go right to my income statement, which of course I'm in all the time. So let's say I run my P&L, and here it is. And maybe I want, again, for these two accounts to be added together for this report. Now, again, I may not have a sub-account that I can use. However, I can go to Edit Layout down here, and I can customize this report pretty much any way I want to see it. So here in this report, it's going to show me everything, including some of the accounts that have a zero balance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this account and this account and just hit Group Selection. And in this case, I can make this all travel as the account title. So then you're going to be able to see that it's going to go ahead and essentially kind of create sub-accounts for me, where it will actually total these accounts together and create a overarching account of all of them. And I can do this for more than just two accounts. So let's say I also wanted to be able to see anything related to employee benefits and salaries together. I'm going to go through and just pick all the accounts that relate to employee benefits. Again, these might be separated because of the fact that the numbering system just put them in different places, but that is okay. You can actually go back and add them together. So now I'm going to group selection and put employee salaries and benefits. And I'm going to make that its own group as well. So now you can see it has grouped these few different areas and put them together. So it essentially functions as a sub-account. But the great thing, and the reason that I actually like this better than using sub-accounts, is because I can actually edit this all the time. So if I want to save this and I want this to be my default P&L, so I don't have to do that every single time, I can do that. I can just save as draft, published, or custom. Let's say I save it as a custom report. I can name it, and then I can actually make that the custom report. That'll be the default that pulls up when I go to pull up my profit and loss statement. However, let's say I want to change this in different ways, or I want to group different accounts, or I want to show this P&L differently. Well, I can make as many as I want to. So with sub-accounts in QuickBooks Online, you're kind of stuck with however you set it up to begin with, but I can customize these reports and have multiple different versions of reports for different purposes without having to change my chart of accounts. And that's why I actually like it a little bit better than QuickBooks Online, because it's actually more customizable. Now, one of the other cool things that I'm going to go into is tracking categories. And tracking categories essentially will allow you to create various different categories that you can use. Maybe it's for regions, maybe it's for divisions in your business, maybe it's for locations, right? Then you can create that, and you can also select a category for each different expense or income that comes in. And so if you do that, then you can actually run, let's say maybe a P&L just for that region. So if you wanted a P&L to be able to look at just one region, and you're going to send that maybe to the person who is over that region or division, you can actually do that as well. And again, you can customize this however you want, and you can save it as a specific report so that it's always available to you. And just to show you how cool tracking categories are, let's say we wanted to look at all of them. Again, you can have up to 2 different tracking categories with tons of different options underneath each of those tracking categories. So in this case, we've got region as a tracking category, and now I can run a P&L that has all of them. all listed out here. And that may be helpful, again, if you're trying to look at the profitability of different divisions or different locations, you can have that all in one report and you can save that report. And of course, you can do the same thing for essentially any of the reports that you use a lot in your business. You can save them as favorites and you can customize them however you want. So there's so many great reports within Xero. This is another place I recommend people who are new to Xero spend some time. Just see what reports are out there, because often people don't even realize what amazing data is right at their fingertips until they've spent some time here. And if you're curious where to find and set up those tracking categories, you're going to go to accounting, and then you're going to go to accounting settings. And every different subscription level in Xero should have access to be able to set up tracking categories. And this is what it's going to look like. So you can change whatever is in there, and you can add additional tracking categories and make them whatever you want to see in your business. And then that means you can essentially use these as tags for all the different transactions that come through your business. And that means you'll be able to run better reports and get better data. Now, these two areas, your chart of accounts and your tracking categories, are areas that I highly recommend going ahead and getting set up at the beginning of setting up Xero. So when you're getting set up, it can be a really good time to think about what data you want to make sure is captured. Because if you wait 6 months, 12 months to create those tracking categories, let's say, then you're going to have to go back in time and actually go and add those tracking categories to all those past transactions, which is a pain. It's not impossible, but of course it's better to do on the front end. And that's really just a general rule with any data going into any accounting software system. The better the data that you're putting in, the more tags, the more things you're giving it, the more information it has, then the better information it's going to be able to put out on the back end when it comes to reporting. If you want to know more about tracking categories and give you some ideas on how you might use them for your business, check out this video next, where I walk through exactly how I use tracking categories. Now, the great thing is that the customization that you can do in Xero isn't limited to just your bookkeeping and reporting. There are lots of other things that you can customize within Xero based on how you use it. So for example, if you use Xero for invoicing, you can go to Sales and Sales Settings, and you will find your invoice settings. And there you can actually go in and create how you want your invoices to look. See, in this case, there are a few different templates that have been created already, but you can also go in and create your own. And when you do this, the cool thing is not only can you actually customize what is going to show up on here. For instance, if you don't want your phone number on there, which I recommend taking off, especially if that's a personal phone number, you can do that. And then also you can change what shows up regarding your customer details and also your branding and styling. And I really appreciate this as someone who likes when things look nice. This is something that you can do. You can change your colors, you can add your logo, you can change your fonts, which is great, and just make it look a little bit more you. And one thing that I think is really cool as well is that you can add a QR code where they can actually be able to link to and pay their invoice from there. So again, anything that makes it easier for your customers to pay your invoices, the better. And speaking of your customers paying your invoices, one other thing that you can do too is set up invoice reminders, and you can customize those through the system as well. So it can send email reminders. You can set these to be however many days as you want. You can actually set what that is going to say. It's fully customizable. And I think that's really cool and a great way to make sure that your invoices are actually being paid in a timely manner. And there's also lots of other cool settings that you can see within here. So if you're looking to customize anything, if you want to see it your way, there's probably a way to do it in Xero. You can just go down through all the various settings and see what they have to offer. This is a great menu to explore when you're really getting started or really trying to clean up your Xero and make it look exactly how you want it. And another thing that you can and should customize in Xero is the look of your dashboard. So it is going to pre-populate what it thinks that you want to see. It may have all of your bank accounts up here first, but depending on how you want to see things and what's most important to you, you can just hit edit homepage. And then you can just drag and drop and move everything around or delete things you don't want to see, or even potentially add things. You can look and see what other widgets they might have. Maybe I want to see my expenses. And it's going to allow you to add everything that you want to see. Now, there is one more incredibly cool customization you can do in Xero, and literally I just found out about this the other day. Now, this works if you have the established plan, because the established plan comes with Sift Analytics, which is a really cool analytics dashboard built in, and it comes with some super rad features. So when you come into it, you can visualize all kinds of things really easily with various different graphs. You can also go to planning. There's a cash flow manager in here that will actually help look at where your cash is going and project future cash flows, which is super cool. And then also the cool thing that I found is going to be under the Analyze tab, and it's the business health scorecards. And like I said, this is pretty new. So this in and of itself is really cool because it's going to give you essentially metrics, KPI data, things like that are being calculated off of your financial statements. You can actually go in and customize the targets here. So if you have a particular target income, you can go to edit, and you can come over here to determine what your target is going to be. So let's say this is of high importance and you want to set an actual target amount. Maybe you want to set it to be $10,000 a month, let's say, right? And then you want it to be above, not below that. So in that case, you can do that, and then you can see if you're actually hitting that target. As cool as that is, it's not as cool as what I'm about to show you. Let's say that these metrics aren't exactly what you want to track. Maybe there's a specific metric that you want to keep an eye on in your business. Well, guess what? We can add a row, and we can either pick a pre-built metric, which there's tons of, or we can pick a custom metric. And this, like I said, I am super obsessed with. I'm probably going to make far too many metrics that my team is going to hit their head against a wall about, but I love this. And so, for example, let's say that you wanted to have a metric that tracked total wages as a percent of your income, right? So you're wanting to keep maybe the total wages at, let's say 40% or less of your total income, so that you make sure that you're not paying out too much in wages. You can actually go in and create that equation. So in this case, I'm going to go to Insert Data, and I'm going to be able to pull my P&L accounts in here. So I'm going to go and find the wage account that I want to use, wages and salaries. Then I'm going to hit Divided By, and then I'm going to go to, let's see, total income. And now it's going to take my wages and salary divided by my total income. I can also select a format. So in this instance, this is actually going to be a percentage that I'm trying to track. I'll put 1 decimal, and then I can decide what I want it to be, what's the importance, and then also what I want the target to be. So I'm going to set my target at 40%. Or below. That I want it to stay below. That would be good if it's 40% or below. And so I'm going to hit done. And now I have this new metric that is being tracked here on my dashboard. And I can add as many of these as I want to and run them for as many periods as I want to. I can run it for the whole year if I want to, and see how we are performing. And it's even going to give a business health score that is calculated based on how you're doing compared to the targets that you set for your business. How cool is this? To me, this is worth the established plan many times over. As an accountant, I know that software just like this can cost even more than the entire Xero subscription. And that's even when it doesn't come with the entire bookkeeping software that Xero has. I hope this video helped you see just how powerful Xero can be when it's tailored for your business needs. If you're interested in signing up for Xero and using my special partner discount, definitely use jamietrull.com/Xero. And if you're interested in learning more about Xero in general, go check out this playlist that is currently showing on your screen. And if you're still deciding what bookkeeping software is best for you and your business needs, don't worry, I got you covered. Take my brand new accounting software quiz that will help you figure out what the best fit for you is based on your specific business needs. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.